This place, Rockingham, is what I would refer to as NASCAR's 24-hour event.
Well, we run a lot of 500-mile races, but we just run 2 or 3 of them on these 1-mile racetracks, and this is the toughest racetrack on the circuit.
It's the third stop on the 1983 NASCAR Winston Cup Trail. 143 laps were completed last week when it rained. So we have 349 to go in the Carolina 500, and you'll see it live today on ESPN. And the command to start engines has just been given here at Rockingham as we get ready to go. They will have a few warm-up laps before they go green, though. This is Bob Jenkins along with Larry Newber here in the broadcast booth in the pit area, covering the activity there for us once again this week. The editor of Stock Car Racing magazine, Dick Berggren.
It's been a very interesting week for the people with the pit crews. Ordinarily, they work on their cars all week. However, last week when the rain came, NASCAR impounded all those cars, locked them up, told them nobody could touch the automobiles. This morning, 2 men from each car was allowed to come in, change the spark plugs in the car, start the engine up. If a tire was totally flat, they were allowed to refill it, add water to the radiator. That was all. So most of the competitors are planning to come in right away when the race starts. It's going to be a yellow flag situation. The fastest cars, the cars in the lead lap, are anticipated to come in first. They'll take on a set of tires, take on a load of fuel. It's going to be a real drag race out. It's going to shuffle the entire order of what's going on here. So it's going to be a pretty exciting start. Nobody really knows what's going to happen down here because this hasn't happened before, so we'll all watch it unfold together.
And as we indicated, the weather is just beautiful this afternoon with bright sunshine, and I believe everybody that was here last week for the race is back again. 143 laps were completed last week when the rains came, and let's look at some of the highlights of the activity from last week. It rained during the morning time, and they had to start the race under a yellow and green condition to dry the track. But then Ricky Rudd, who started from the pole position for the 3rd time in as many races this year, jumped out into the lead. Here he is leading the number 75 car, driven by Neil Bonnet from Hueytown, Alabama. Ricky Rudd leads the other 35 starters down for the completion of lap number 1. Dale Earnhardt, driving car number 15, the Wrangler Ford, then jumped out into the lead. But then Dave Marcus had a problem. The engine let go in his car, and he flamed out, but drove the car to a safe stall on the backstretch. Dale Earnhardt, who earlier was the leader, then had a problem with losing control with that car up in turns 1 and 2, slams the outside retaining wall, bringing out another caution period. The skies began to darken as Dale Earnhardt moved the car into the pit area. The crew looked the car over, but determined they could not get it back into the race. Buddy Baker, driving the number 21 Valvoline Oil Company Ford, spun after losing an engine down in turn number 4 to bring out another yellow. Then we went racing, and Cale Yarborough sneaks past Neil Bonnet to go into the lead in the Carolina 500. Shortly after that, the weather turned very sour. The rains came, and the red flag came out. So that's the situation as we have it today. The cars were impounded in the pit area at the end of those 143 laps, and nobody has been able to touch those cars in the last week. This is how they're running now. Cale Yarborough is the leader of the race. He won the Daytona 500 earlier this year. He started 5th and is the current leader. Running in 2nd position is Bobby Allison, who won the Richmond 400 earlier this year. He is started in 3rd position, now is in 2nd. Neil Bonnet in the number 75 Hodgson National Engineering Chevrolet started in 2nd position. He is now 3rd. Running in 4th position, after 10 wins here at Rockingham, is Richard Petty. He has moved up nicely since the drop of the green flag. He started 12th. Terry Labonte, 3rd in the 1982 Winston Cup points, started 14th, is currently running in 5th position. Joe Ruttman, the Winston Cup points leader, currently started this race in 10th position, and he is currently 6th. Then Darrell Waltrip, the defending Winston Cup champion, both the champion in 81 and 82. He started in 11th position, and Darrell Waltrip is currently 7th. Harry Gant, 4th in 1982 Winston Cup points, started the Carolina 500 in 7th position and is currently running 8th. Then Tim Richmond, who won twice in 1982 on the Winston Cup Trail, started 13th. He is currently in 9th position. And Ricky Rudd, who has won the pole all 3 times this year, started the race from the pole position number 1 and is currently running in 10th. And in 11th position, Jeff Bodine in car number 88. 12th position is Lake Speed. In turn 13th is Bill Elliott. 14th position, Ron Bouchard. Ronnie Thomas is 15th. In 16th place, Dick Brooks. 17th is Jim Sauter. 18th, Sterling Martin. 19th position is Slick Johnson. And 20th is Ronnie Hopkins. Running in 21st position is Tommy Gale, followed by Bobby Wawak, D.K. Ulrich, Rick Newsom, and Lenny Pond. In 26th position, Lenny Pond, followed by J.D. McDuffie, Jimmy Means, Bobby Hillen Jr., and Buddy Arrington. 31st, Kyle Petty, the cars out of the race. Buddy Baker, Dale Earnhardt, Dave Marcus, and Ernie Klein will be back in just a moment. A lot of pit activity here at Rockingham as the race has been started under yellow. The pace car leading the field by the main straightaway here. But we have several cars into the pit area for early stops. Neil Bonnet in number 75 has not pitted. But as you can see, Kyle Petty is among the drivers in for stops. And Larry, this is really a fair thing for the NASCAR officials to do. Give the drivers this early pit stop opportunity.
Bob, there were so many variables, so many unknown variables of the cars sitting all week. A lot of these teams have surfaced near the top, the front runners of NASCAR racing in the past 2 or 3 seasons. They had never experienced anything like this. There was a great deal of concern about how putting these cars away last week. They rode them hard and put them away wet, as the saying goes, how the cars were going to react after being refired this week.
Neil Bonnet did not come in. Dick Berggren has a comment on that situation.
Well, the reason that Neil didn't come in is that his crew is adopting a different strategy than just about everybody else out here. Rather than starting out with fresh tires and a fresh load of fuel, they're going to let Neil go out and ride around and really get the feel of the car, radio back to his crew, tell the crew what to do, and he'll have exactly the right tires on it. So it's a very different strategy for Neil Bonnet.
All right, Neil Bonnet is the leader of the race as the pace car once again comes down through the tri-oval, and the word has been given that in 2 more laps the green will come out.
Bob, a couple of pit notes from this caution flag here that has restarted the race. Tim Richmond has been in at least twice, and I saw smoke coming from the engine the first time in. The crew looks like it's ready for him to come back again. Kyle Petty is sitting on pit road right now. Kyle lost some laps earlier in the race. He's losing more right now. Here comes Richmond in for the 3rd time.
Several drivers have improved their position considerably. Richard Petty started in 12th position, is now 4th, so he has moved up 8 positions. Actually, right now, he is 2nd because of the pit activity.
There's Richard on the racetrack, a guy who has won here more often than anybody, although in the last 3 years, only Darrell Waltrip and Cale Yarborough have visited Victory Lane here at Rockingham. The question becomes, does the old guard continue to win here at Rockingham, or will the new guard, people like Rudd and Ruttman, will they begin to assert themselves and maybe pick up their first victory at this racetrack?
Sterling Marlin from Columbia, Tennessee pulls out of the pit area. Kyle Petty is still in, so is Tim Richmond. Now we see Tim beginning to move as Ronnie Thomas now appears on the screen. Ronnie also has improved his position by 10. 25th was his starting position, and he now runs 15th. Ronnie Thomas.
Ronnie, of course, a young man who's a former Rookie of the Year in Grand National Winston Racing. Ronnie Thomas, who has been struggling the past couple of seasons. Actually, he's in the wake of a couple of off years for him. He took the big plunge over the winter months. He borrowed in excess of $100,000 on a personal account to field this race team. A little later in this afternoon, we're going to have some more details on Ronnie Thomas.
His best career finish was a 7th in 1979. This track, as we indicated, just a little more than 1 mile in length. That's the reason why there are 492 laps that complete the 500 miles. The track itself is steeply banked. There are banks in the first and second turn of about 22 degrees, and then in the 3rd and 4th turns there are 26 degrees of banking. The backstretch is 85 feet wide with a 10-degree bank on it, and that's where the cars are right now. And the front tri-oval is 85 feet wide and has 7 degrees of banking.
The tri-oval where the cars are right now is a place that is a favored position on this racetrack, 1 lap to green, by the way, for a lot of the top drivers to pass. The real tricky part on this racetrack, most of the veterans will tell you, is coming out of turn number 2. There is the field through the tri-oval, entering turn number 1, the less banking of the 4 corners. But coming out of turn number 2, there's a steep drop-off. The track flattens out, and it's a very, very tricky and precarious place on this speedway.
Last week, when the race was postponed until today, it was the 6th consecutive time that rain or snow had postponed or canceled this race. But it is delightful to see bright sunshine today and temperatures that could reach near 70 degrees by the end of the afternoon. And about 30,000 people have turned out for the running of this Carolina 500 that we're presenting live today on ESPN. And in less than a quarter of a lap, the field is scheduled to get the green flag and we'll go back to racing. 148 laps have been completed. The pace car high on the banking now in turn number 4 dives down toward the pit area and pulls off of the racetrack. Neil Bonnet, followed by Richard Petty, leads them through the turn number 4 onto the tri-oval as Harold Kinder, the official starter for the NASCAR Winston Cup Series, waves the green flag, and the Carolina 500 from Rockingham is underway once again after a week's delay. Everybody making it through turns 1 and 2 okay so far, as down the backstretch goes Neil Bonnet in that number 75 Hodgson National Engineering Chevy. Right behind him is Richard Petty, who goes high on the racetrack and loses a position. Neil Bonnet able to complete this first lap under green in the lead. Second position is Jeff Bodine. Third is Richard Petty, and fourth is Bobby Allison, but Bodine is a lap down.
Bob, the racetrack is green right now. That is to say there is very little rubber on it. The groove that was worked into the Speedway during practice qualifying at a sportsman race last week is gone because of the heavy rains. When the groove gets worked in, it's only about 2 car widths wide. So anytime you see a guy on the outside, particularly in these early laps, he is right on the ragged edge.
Jeff Bodine running right behind the leader. Neil Bonnet is trying to get his lap back. Jeff is a lap down now. Bobby Allison has moved into second position as the cars splash down the backstretch once again. Running in third place is Richard Petty, and fourth is Cale Yarborough. There is the lead back as Neil Bonnet brings them around once again to complete lap number 152. Neil Bonnet from Hueytown, Alabama, the winner of the Busch Clash earlier this year, and also the winner of one of the qualifying races at Daytona International Speedway. Now we can see Jeff Bodine pulling very close to the rear of Neil Bonnet, and Bobby Allison also getting to the near rear of Jeff Bodine's car.
There's Bobby Allison on the left-hand side of your screen. On the right-hand side is Cale Yarborough. Cale looked pretty invincible near the final stages of the green flag segment before we had to stop the race because of rain a week ago. Bobby Allison, of course, the man who has finished second in Winston Cup points in each of the last 2 seasons. He won the most recent race in the trail. He and team manager Gary Nelson felt very comfortable and confident going in. There is Bodine going after his lap back.
And Bodine and Bobby Allison both able to sneak under Neil Bonnet, so Bodine gets the lap back and Bobby Allison moves into the lead here in Rockingham. Off of the 4th turn now as Cale Yarborough moves to the inside of Neil Bonnet, and Cale Yarborough moves into second position and Neil Bonnet falls back to third. Richard Petty is running fourth. There is the leader of this race, Bobby Allison. Although his car is not out in the lead right now, he is the leader because Jeff Bodine is a lap down. Bobby Allison, car number 22, the Miller High Life Dyguard Chevrolet. Bobby started this race last Sunday, qualifying for third starting position at 142.271 miles an hour.
Well, Bob, last week everybody knew, of course, that the weather was quite threatening, and it was definitely a case of a sprint race last week. Everybody was trying to go as fast as they could, as early as they could in the race. And everyone was speculating up and down pit row, how quick would the pace be this week? It's a little off from what it was a week ago. So obviously some of the drivers up front are being just a little conservative because the cars are not set up for such a pleasant day. They were set up for colder track conditions, and they were set up for extremely different barometric pressure conditions as far as the carburation goes. They completed the last couple laps at about 26.25 seconds. That would have only been good enough for the 7th row on the starting grid. So the pace is a little off. I think most of us really expected that to happen, as a lot of the drivers are trying to figure out the compromise they're working with today that they got from last week. Is it going to be good enough?
Bobby Allison is the leader, and running in second position is Cale Yarborough. Neil Bonnet third, Richard Petty fourth, Harry